Well, you look the part, but let's see some of your moves.
Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hunting solo, I'm hunting solo, I'm hunting solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight, finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to, ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbon lights off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbon light is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. Solo. Picking up my plaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my falcon, whoopie at my side. I'm solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. I'm hunting solo. Solo. I'm hunting solo.
Okay, I can see you have some skills, but now it's my turn.
Well, there we go.
And now it's my turn.
Huh?
And now it's my turn, in the words of Lando.
Yes. I'm seeing if we're streaming on Instagram, and it says we are.
Nice.
So
that means YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
and Twitch.
Damn. And what about TikTok?
TikTok, I have not got the code yet.
Okay.
I have to get a live, and it keeps. I have to I got to do it on a PC, which I don't have, and so let me see if our chat. I don't know if our chat's going to work. Our chat's been off a little bit too, but who knows?
Yeah, we haven't seen Ark and E-Girl in a while.
Yeah, I saw Ark on TikTok.
Okay.
Got accepted into college or something, so he's a busy man.
That's awesome.
So that's good. But we don't have John here, so if those that are noticing that John is not here, it's not that we did anything to him. He's still out and about.
Yeah, we haven't sold him to pirates or anything.
Yeah, not yet. But this is a weird week. So, like, my job, I don't have work this week. So I thought today was Tuesday. I was running around. I was like, oh crap, it's Wednesday. So, yeah, it was just a weird. It used to be before you had cell phones. Like my first couple years teaching, like that's how the beginning of June was when my wife and I both got done teaching. Like we just kind of didn't know what was going on for you just kind of you went into that like 2-day coma of just recuperating from teaching and so I don't know. But how was your week, Ken?
It's been pretty good actually. Got that Christmas holiday behind us and looking into the new year and got some fun things planned.
Well, that's good. No trooping over break.
No trooping over the break. No costume work over the break.
No.
Just acquiring more goods and goodies for the collection.
Yeah. That's definitely. I wish I was. I have these. I have the mold for the Imperial Guard. That's pretty much all I acquired, but everything else, I'm just kind of. I haven't really done any costumes. I picked up some more 3D printed files for some pistols and stuff. So I picked up what do you call it? Jyn Erso's pistol.
Okay.
So I'm just I got that. I just wanted there's a couple of those files like I wanted to get. So I grabbed the Jyn Erso pistol file, and I got a better file for a Jawa blaster. Not that I don't see any reason why I'll need a Jawa blaster. anytime soon. But who knows?
Now, is it a blaster carried by a Jawa or a
Yeah,
blaster to
Jawa,
blast
it's
Jawas?
shooting Jawas.
Okay.
You know how you shoot Jawas. Just don't lead them as much. Isn't that the line? Is that a line from Full Metal Jacket or Apocalypse Now? I forget.
Yes, similar. Yes, I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah. So, which is a terrible, terrible joke. But
Well, we also grew up on Mel Brooks movies, so
That's-
we're.
there's Fordo.
Oh, we were just talking about you. Good
Yeah.
to see you.
But yeah, I wanted one to print the wooden stock. You know, I think that's built on a Springfield rifle. The original Jawa, not the Jawa gun they always show in the photographs, but
The photon blaster or whatever it is.
yeah, not the big ion blaster, but the one that the Jawas carried. That the one couldn't get in his holster. You know, but they were I believe they were a Springfield bolt action rifle with it cut down, and then they had a German grenade launcher outer thing mounted on the front. Looks like it's flash suppressor.
Gotcha.
And this one file, it has the stock separate, so I could print it with that wood filament. And
and because you said that the wood filament sands better, right?
yeah, it sands better. It stains like wood. It smells like wood. But that's it. I did a little work on the Sabine training helmet. And then this weekend I went up to Jordan's. I went up to North Jersey and visited Jordan for a while.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so and it was fun. But it's like a 3-hour one-way hike. So
Yeah, we should have him on the show sometime.
I know he is a busy person, and I keep asking him, and it's like Wednesdays doesn't seem like to be the best night for him. I actually sent him a link tonight. I was like, look, I know you're busy, but if something changes, here's the link.
Well, the other thing that we could do, this is something that we've kind of tossed around as ideas before, and just we get if there's a day where he's available,
Yeah.
we ask him some questions we recorded, and then we just play it on here. I mean,
He'd be fun to have on just because of his knowledge of toys, his knowledge of comic books too, and goes back like a lot. So, but yeah, he was.
and we know he's had some wonderful run-ins with people in the Star Wars universe, and I think that would also be a fun topic of conversation, either for the three of us, or maybe John does one on his show, I do one on my show, and we could call it like close encounters of the Star Wars kind.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people have you interacted with that were either in a movie, that worked behind the scenes, wrote a book or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's funny because I always wound up. So here, I gotta make sure I get the TK number. So the last couple times I've gone to Jordan's, I have run into the same person. And here, I want to make sure I get his TK number right. But he's another one. He's from the Jersey. What are they? The Northeast Remnant? Is that what they are?
I think so.
Northeast Remnant because Jordan was saying that one of his goals is he wants to get into 500 first. That's one of Jordan's goals.
You should make him an officer. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So we were doing what all Star Wars costumers do is TI 17422 is I just wanted to make sure I got the right number, but it's Brian, and he does a TIE pilot, and he has a cool patch. He gave me a coin, which I have up in my office. I should have wrote down, but he gave me a coin and stuff. But that's what we were talking. Like we said to him, "Do you want to be honorary?" And then we give the same speech, like because Jordan likes the pilots. Then we went into that. Look, if you make a pilot, you can have 10 costumes. The same thing I always complain about, but because like Jordan would probably just because of his line of work, it would be difficult for him to be in a pilot costume and carry a helmet around. Like if he's because a lot of times part of his job is he goes around and interviews people. But if he's in a pilot, if he's in the jumpsuit with a, he doesn't have to carry anything. We were explaining all that to him. So it was a fun conversation. But yeah, I that'd be cool. And Jordan, the one guy that did, Jordan's friends with guys from Tops. I think Jordan was one of the models for the Tops card for Dash Rendar.
Oh, really?
When one of the top, because he was showing me one time, because he had a Dash Rendar costume back when Dash first when was that like? Was that
Shadows of the Empire time, wasn't it?
90s?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mid 90s.
And he has a picture of him with some guys,
I think.
And so it definitely has to be, I would say pre-95, right?
It's definitely prequel, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were Power of the Force figures.
Yeah, so that was definitely, pre-95.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, I had my store, and I remember in my store, I want to say, yeah, that was 93, 94. I think it was out then, now that I think about it, because I think the Applause statues came out of Caesar,
Zizor, the feline that married Princess Leia.
And he was holding his hand up with I remember the Applause figure. I think the only Applause figures I have left, I have 2 Stormtroopers, Vader, and a Tusken Raider. Of those Applause figures.
And they were before the, what are they called now? The really high-end ones.
Oh, yeah. What were they called? I don't know. But we used to get them at Suncoast.
Okay.
They'd have they just have them random spots on the shelf. You're like, oh, there's C-3PO, And the C-3PO silver leg. That was like, I think that was the first time I really realized it was silver and not just beat up gold.
When you saw that figure?
Yeah, that figure.
The statue.
Because they never had action figures like that.
So Applause was the pre-sideshow, right? Or
yeah. Applause was like, it was like middle of the road, Hallmark and all the places that carried like kind of stuff.
Okay.
It was they had the higher end Applause were almost like they were like action figures / Barbie dolls that came with like a metal base, like you could get Batman and Robin and all them. And then there was the cheapo Applause, which were just like blowed plastic, and almost like Vader stood up and the Tusken Raider, but none of the rest you had to kind of like pop up against things. But I remember one of my customers got me a Stormtrooper when I had my store, and then the Vader. The Vader was just cool because he stood up. So, but yeah, I got because I didn't really get much. We don't really get much at Christmas here, but Zoe got me a Star Wars shirt from one of those fancy shirt places, like a button down Star Wars shirt,
like a Roosevelt's, like a short sleeve button down.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that one or what's the other one. Is it Box Lunch?
There's Box Lunch or Scum and Villainy.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's probably not Scum and Villainy. I think they're a little pricey. I hope not. Then I trained her wrong. I trained my kids. I said, you're neither of you are in places to spend tons of money on Christmas. You get your life established, then.
See, this year was the first year I noticed that Christmas has gotten weird. And what I mean by this, so we have, 2 boys, one's 21, one's 18. And I'm not 21 or 18. And so this year we gave them a few things, and money, money to do stuff. And Eric, the older one, bought me toys. So he bought me a 6-inch Star Killer.
Oh, nice.
Looks like Sam Witwer. And then he also bought me a 6-inch Black Series Qui-Gon Jinn, the Ghost version.
Oh, that's cool.
Then Heather got me a Trapper Wolf helmet.
Oh, you got the Trapper Wolf.
Yes, and she didn't pay $150 for it. So it's just funny that the oldest person in the house is the one that walked out of Christmas with the most toys.
Picture of you with your Star Wars jammies with all the presents sitting around under the tree.
Yeah.
Well, it is weird because for my girls, like we got him practical stuff. Like Safi needed a computer for college, so we bought it like weeks ago. Because she needed it then. So like, okay. And then Zoe wanted the soft goods Sabine, but so all of it was like, okay, there you go. There's just two big, like each of them got a big one, and then we did little things. And it is kind. I said to my wife, I said it's kind of sad. I do miss those days. I don't miss when they were little. I like the age my kids are now, but if I had to pick one day, it was Christmas when they were like 8 and 10, and you spent way more money than you should on crap, and they just were just
And they loved all of it.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember one year we never shopped on like Black Friday or anything like that. We always and like remember Entertainment Earth, like
Yes.
so a lot of times we would do like if we always did overkill. Like if they were both on an Indiana Jones kick, I bought a case of Indiana Jones figures, right? Like this and because they were cheap. No one was in Indiana Jones then. So and we did a map, and they got maps for Christmas, and they had to put the map together, and we hit and Indiana Jones. And then in one year we went Black Friday. I took my mother-in-law. She had to go Black Friday looking at exercise bike, whatever. And I was standing there while she was just wandering around. It was Kmart, but they had the big belt-fed Nerf guns.
Oh yeah, the Vulcan.
$50 on Black Friday. I bought each of the girls one of those. It was like an unplanned present. And my mother-in-law, she didn't understand. She's like, "They're for your daughters? I don't." And the girls, they would just set everything up and just mow stuff down.
When the kids were younger, Heather and I we'd start Christmas shopping in the summertime
Hmm.
because that was when they were at an age where they would spend some weekends with their dad and some weekends with us. So on those weekends that they were with their dad, we would go out on adventures, and because of where we live, we are close enough to shop in Pennsylvania, shop in New Jersey, shop in Delaware, and so we would bounce around to the three different states trying to find the stuff,
Yeah.
whether it was cars, figures, or there was actually a moment in time where both boys actually were okay with Star Wars toys. And I think I should have seen this as a sign the one year that we got them a lot of stuff, and then probably around June or July, they sold it back to me. They didn't want it anymore, and they said, "I'll give you all my Star Wars stuff for $50."
Well.
So I bought the stuff for them, and then I bought the stuff from them. So I paid two times for all of the stuff.
Yeah, well, we always tried to buy it. We bought more than what they should have, but we never just bought piles of stuff. We always tried to make sure it was something they wanted, because I felt bad for my kids because people knew they liked Star Wars, so they get them random stuff, and the only thing worse than not getting something if you're a big Star Wars fan is when you get the stuff that just really doesn't, to go well. So, but
Like
yeah,
Constable Zuvio.
well, no, it was stuff that like Sappy always liked any kind of droid. You get her any droid when she was little. But I remember one year they got him some kind of like battle pack, but it didn't really. It was like an odd size. It was when they would have these different, and it didn't like match into their universe. I mean, not knocking, but
Yeah.
they went through a pops phase. I'm glad that's over with. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just I was trying to think of when you said what we were going to talk about today. I was trying to think of like what can we glean? What was our like? This is at maintenance week. Like, what Star Wars maintenance did you do this week? Like to get ready, like to finish up this year, last 2023, either mentally or physically or whatever, and to get ready for the new 2020. Even though it's just an arbitrary date on the calendar,
Yeah.
we all tend to our minds tend to click in.
Well, it's funny they say that because so for whatever reason, I don't know why this is happening. I just know that it is. For the rambling Star Wars fan, I'll come up with an idea for a show, and I'll put together stuff for that show. And then I'll get distracted and come up with a different idea for a show. And it's like it's the podcast version of my costuming adventure. I have 7 costumes that are in process or in progress, and none of them are done. And the same is happening with the rambling Star Wars fan. And so the latest thing in my head is looking at 2023 and all of the things that have happened, whether it's talking about the new shows that we've gotten, or looking back at some of the people that have passed this year, and just reflecting on what they contributed to the Star Wars universe, and then planning for, like you said, planning for some things that I want to do in 2024 for the show. And do you remember was it Saturday Night Live that used to do the deep thoughts with Jack Candy? So one of the ideas that I have for 2024, and this is being done in an effort to get me more active with social media related to the shows. And so each week I intend to post a picture from Star Wars with some sort of quote from somewhere that either goes with that picture, or when you look at the words and the picture in combination, like, wait a like, a
Well,
little bit ironic there. So that's one of the things I have in mind for 2024 is I want to get more active in it, and I'm going to do that.
oh, that's good. Well, you need a producer. You need to get your wife. She just needs to be your producer.
Yeah.
You just because I'm a better producer. Like I nag the crap out of Zoe. So you know, but yeah, I'm in the same boat in regards to just the costuming thing, and I've been pretty good. I haven't really added new costumes or anything other than I just bought some 3D files, but I'm just at the point with my 3D printer. I'm just like, it's too cold to paint and do stuff right now. So I'm just like, I'm just going to run off little stuff that I can, just for the fun of it, you know.
How
But
long does it take you to print blasters?
well, so this now I print them on the slowest setting so that it's less cleanup. So to print all the pieces for the Jyn Erso blaster is 2 days and 15 hours.
Okay.
But that's all the pieces on the bed. I hit play when it comes out, it's ready to go. So that's I have that, the Jawa, and then the only other file that I bought when I was talking earlier, I bought the Lewis gun.
The Lewis gun.
The big round blaster from the Sand Trooper.
Yes.
Not the one with the double things, but the one with no. It just looks like a big piece of tube on a machine gun. That's a World War I Lewis gun.
Okay.
With the magazine removed. If you look up a Lewis gun, they have a round magazine that sits on top. The Stormtrooper one, it's literally, I think it's just a straight up Lewis gun without the magazine on top.
Oh wow.
And so I bought that file too. So just to keep the printers running. And then over Christmas, Marty sent me these 2 printer companies that were running these like killer specials. I was like, oh man, I can't do it. I don't have room. I'd have to like double stack my printers. So. But yeah, I'm in the same boat as a sense that I want to get my social media back on track with Star Wars, because I feel like the negative people are doing a good job of staying on track.
Yeah, you betcha. Staying on track and the frequency with which it comes out. I mean,
If I see one more thing about season 4 of The Mandalorian being a movie, I'm gonna scream, because it's just like if you're the right person that says the wrong thing, it just gets picked up by everybody. And then costuming and trooping, like I want to do, and Fan Expo is what's in my sights now, because I sent the one lady a letter,
okay.
an email about us. I was talking to Jordan about it, and he said if I don't hear back from her, let him know, and he'll give me another name. So I was like, okay, I'll gladly do that. So, but yeah, I definitely, and then again, I don't know what's happening with my kids, like with Daffy Troop and his 000 or 3PO or whatever. I got to get on that. And with Zoe, if she's out in California, that changes a lot of things.
Yeah, for 2024, in terms of trooping, I want to do at least 6 troops. And I've already got my sights set on making sure that I can do air and scare. That's one of the things on my list that I absolutely positively want to do in 2024.
Yeah, that's my air and scare. If the world goes how I'd like it, I would love to troop Aaron Scare as 501st and Mando Mercs. I'd like to be in the Mercs before Aaron Scare
With your din?
with Din or a custom,
Okay.
whatever comes first. Um, but yeah, with probably Din would be my first choice. But it's all going to just, I got to see how things shake out with Zoe moving in the first couple months of the year, what she's doing. I mean, I keep reminding her, hey, you can get film jobs in Philadelphia. So, but I don't want to, you know, I don't want to shatter her dreams or anything, um, but yeah, it all depends on that, because that's what, if she moves, that's going to eat up my time and money, for all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that would be my dream if everything would be Aaron Scare, something like that. It just depends on the weekend too. If it's I don't know when Halloween falls this year, so probably could just look it up by clicking on a calendar here. It's like I ask a question before I can, but that I have to. I want to promote and get us. We need a drawing to get people to buy the to commit to our Falcon. I don't know how to,
Well, what if we had them commit to a different inflatable Falcon?
What do you mean?
Because there was a pool floaty Falcon that came out a few years ago.
I don't want that thing. I want the real.
But the pool one, that's a real one too.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like Aaron Scare could wind up being November 2nd or October 27th.
I don't think they would do it after Halloween. Do you?
Well, I think they used to be the weekend after Halloween.
Okay.
I don't know. That would be the 26th of the 2nd, which would probably work either way for me. Because then, like, if it's the 26th, it's not a big deal because I've set up for mine. Yeah, either one would work. It looks like that would be doable for me.
And from a timing standpoint or ease standpoint, a custom Mandalorian would be a lot easier for you than doing Din.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I could still use a Din undersuit, and
yes,
and then I don't have to. Then I just have to figure all the other goodies out.
Well, the other piece with doing a custom is you're not beholden to the specificities of that hero character.
Yeah.
So you could say, well, this, I can have a black or a brown undersuit and lime green armor, and that's my custom character.
Yeah, so that's in a perfect world, I'd have Vader done, but Vader's just mentally eluding me right now. I just can't. I don't know. I have builder's block on him. I think. I don't know what it is. So.
Well, have you gotten any further with the belt buckle?
I just looked yesterday, and 2 places have them available. So it's a matter of just committing and ordering it. So once I see how Christmas all shaked out, I'll know that tomorrow when I do my bills. I'm like, okay, I can do that. I have to drop my one. It's car inspection season, so starting in December, I have to get one of my cars inspected every month. Just how the tags fall. So I got to drop Staffy's car off tomorrow. So as long as that doesn't kill me, I'll be okay. But yeah, I mean it's just like it's kind of neat in the new year just to see how things are going. Because we don't have any big events. Again, Fan Expo, which I if they give us a panel before, I can't see at the very least we don't get a panel again.
Well, keep in mind, Fan Expo this year is going to be very interesting because it falls on the 4th.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with the costuming groups and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, well, we had a good crowd. I mean, we had and this year we could do a Royal Guard helmet.
Yeah,
painted. I think I decided when I do my Royal Guards though, when I mold them, I'm going to dye the resin red.
Well, the best part is you only have to dye the first 2 layers red.
The first 2 layers will dye red, and then I well, actually, I might just do one because I might just do one layer of resin and the rest fiberglass. So it'll be twice as strong and twice as light. I just got to look at the shrinkage rate of fiberglass compared to the shrinkage rate of, because you can't have two different shrinkage rates or it'll buckle. So, but that'd be neat to give a Royal Guard helmet on May the 4th. May the 4th. If I can get Marty to let me mold his, I want to mold his, he has a Spanish, his Stormtrooper helmet's from Spain from the 90s, and it's beautiful, but it's all one piece. No ear caps, nothing. So you can mold it. And then it would be a perfect Stormtrooper helmet, no gaps or anything. It just goes right together.
That's cool.
So he said I could mold it, but I just, you know, it has to be one of those things we do in the summer because that's a beautiful helmet. I wouldn't want to mess it up. Yeah, but droids. Well, you're in the Mercs. Are you in Rebel Legion?
No, not yet. And I'm not in 501st officially yet either.
No. What are you working on? Is it what?
I was thinking the Narkina Prisoner and or Director Krennic.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And then like lofty pie in the sky idea. I'd love to do that Captain Enoch costume. Oh yeah. From the Ahsoka show.
House. I did wind up when I bought a bundle. I bought a bundle in October for the live action Sabine, and it came with Captain Enoch.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Was that from Galactic Armory or?
No, it's from some guy. Galactic Armory has one too, but this was, I forget. It was, he just made them, and because his Sabine was not. I liked his Sabine better than the other ones I've seen, and it was like I think I paid like $115 for. I got Enoch, Sabine, and what's his name? The guy with the beard, the Jedi. His
Balin Skull.
Yeah, I got him, and I got live action Rex.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's a heck of a bundle.
Well, when I bought years ago, I bought Din from Three Demons. I paid like half price, and that was like 6 months before the show even came out. And so the first set were all wrong, but it's lifetime updates.
Oh, okay.
You just update it and go on from there. Three Demon, I don't get paid by them, but I like their stuff. They have a good line of weaponry for both Marvel and Star Wars. Also, they have I think it's either Three Demon or Galactic Armory. Now you can 3D print lightsabers that you flick and they.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you do the blade in like a translucent, and which I thought was pretty cool for the kids out there.
Or the 48-year-old toddlers like us.
Yes. I was still more of a blaster guy. Like I think back, and I had like a sword, like a glow in the dark sword, a space sword or something. It wasn't Star Wars because they were too expensive. But I had a it was a plastic Colt 45 army pistol,
like a cap gun.
Yeah, but it was like big. It was, you know what I mean. It looked like a 1911, semi-automatic, and it was all busted up. Like the trigger was missing and all that. Because we just had, like, my grandfather. We just had toys. I don't know where they came from, but I had a Western holster and I put a shoelace through it so I could tie it to my leg. And I literally would get home from school and just strap that thing on and just wear it all, like, you know what I mean, like, And my only variant from Star Wars, I was a big fan of Apollo on Battlestar Galactica because he was left-handed, which is, you know what I mean, like
representation matters.
Well, but people like, and I know that's like in the world of representation, being a lefty, other than Ned Flanders, you're not really, it's not a big deal. But when I was a little kid, it stood out to me. I was like, hey, he's left-handed. You know what I mean? Because I always felt like I was not quite Han Solo because I didn't wear it on the right side, So, and I had a Western holster, which was weird because it had like a horse on it, but it was big enough And since it was a Western style, you could wear it on the left or the right. So I could wear it on the left-hand side, you know.
Nice.
And I probably wore that. I was probably a little too old to be strapping on a toy gun there, but it was just we just run around the woods, you know, like it was just. I mean,
Well, I mean, you got adults who still play paintball or airsoft and all that kind of stuff.
I did that too. We tried to get a Star Wars paintball game back in, I would say 92 or 93, and it it never took off. There was a company called Cushman Paintball. I don't know if you ever heard of them,
Hmm.
but they made vacuum formed guns that would fit over your paintball guns. And they made E11 blasters it was a vacuum formed E11,
Really?
and you would stick it over your paintball gun so you could have an E11. That's my MG42, the Sand Trooper gun. That's a Cushman paintball gun. It's just a vacuum formed with a piece of pipe and spray foam in the middle.
Oh, that's funny.
And they used to sell them, and you would cut them out, and you would tell them what paintball gun you had, and they'd give you a certain one, and you would put it in. It would snap right over your paintball gun, so you could have like an MG. You could either be a German soldier or you could be a stormtrooper. It would just fit right over your paintball gun.
That's awesome.
And then I think
That's knowing your customers right there.
well, it went haywire because they did look like real guns, and especially in the '90s before airsoft hit, um, that was a big problem with paintball. Is they started looking way too much like real guns, and then like people would get upset, like, hey, there's guys running around in the woods, it was like right pre 9/11, but you know, um, but yeah, we tried to do paintball games, but that um, it's not the same. They came out with the good laser tag, and then that didn't really take off very well because paintball, much of the paintball stuff. I used to go to Jersey to pick up all my supplies when I had my store, from National Paintball Supply, and they were in Jersey, right across. Is it the Commodore Barry?
It possibly.
Like it's like you're going to Philly from my place, but south of Philly.
Yes, that's the Commodore Barry
You go
towards the airport.
to Barry, and I'd go like 10 miles down to an industrial park, and National Paintball was like the biggest paintball distributor in the world, was right there in New Jersey.
Oh, I did not know that. That's pretty funny.
So I don't know. That feels like 10 lifetimes ago. Like just like I am with Star Wars, that's how I was with paintball, because I worked at a field, I sold the stuff, and we were just like, paintball 24/7. Because there was no Star Wars. There was I had no Star Wars people to talk to. So
Yeah, and it's amazing too how you can get so laser beam focused on a topic, whether it's
oh yeah.
really into photography or watercolor painting or you know craft beer making in my basement or whatever.
Well, we used to call it in education. We used to talk about it. We call it about silos. We all get siloed in, and so you forget. Like we as Star Wars people, we forget. Just like you and I are doing a Star Wars podcast, that we're deep into Star Wars. There's someone bowling, doing all of this just with bowling.
Yeah.
When you and I go bowling, we're like, what? They have, you see all the stuff that you can buy for bowling, and we're like, what? And sometimes you have to remember that's how some people are with Star Wars.
You
Like,
do know I was in a bowling league once, right?
did you really? Really?
What? When I was like 8 or 9, I had my own bowling ball.
Yeah.
It had Kenny on it. It was this bright blue swirly color. It was 8 pounds.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what we would take the girls bowling, but we were like the kind of people, oh, please put the bumpers up. You know what I mean? But then you're sitting next to the people with like custom made
The
bowling.
wrist guard and
I mean, and it's the same with paintball. And it's the same with Star Wars and Star Trek and Dungeons and Dragons and cars and
yeah.
those things. And and I think sometimes the big fans of one thing are the same that kind of make fun of a big fan of another thing. Like, oh, look at those crazy bowlers. Well, look at me. You know what I mean? Like,
Those weird soccer, enthusiasts or the people who like cricket or crocheting.
and I think what's nice now is I think a lot of people understand that. Like, it is kind of cool to see at conventions. We're seeing people go to a convention. I would have never dreamed that Alec Baldwin would show up at Steel City. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah,
would never I would if someone would have told me, like, 10, 15 years ago that Henry Winkler would be there, I would have never, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it so the fandom kind of gets to mix it in a little bit. So,
Or even to have, not comic book artists, but authors, folks actually,
yeah.
write the literature for some of these things, or some of the, the behind the scene folks, the stunt people. Like, I mean, Brendan Wayne, for instance.
Yep.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
he doesn't have any speaking role in Star Wars, but he's probably just as famous as Pedro Pascal is related to
Oh, yeah,
the
definitely.
Mandalorian.
Well, and I don't care what anyone says, there's a few scenes where you're like, "I don't think that's Brendan Wayne in the costume."
Yeah, because there's that's Lateef Crowder. He's the
Yeah,
so Brendan Wayne is in a lot of the scenes where he's doing the gunslinging.
and he has a swagger, but Brendan has a swagger.
Yes, where Lateef is more of the hand-to-hand combat martial artist kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
definitely a different way of carrying his body. So there are at least three people that play Din Djarin in The Mandalorian.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so, and then all the other, like, I'm so happy when I see, like, the Justin Sonnenfelds and the people we know that get to be like a droid for a day. You know what I mean? Like, I love, like, or the guy who plays, um, the one captain, the with the goatee. He started as the
Carson Teva?
no, no, no. He started as, uh, what was his he had a TV show about a convenience store.
Yeah, he plays Carson Teva.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
the Asian actor from Canada.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I
I think
just
he's from Canada.
happy when I see him
Yeah.
in the show, like, because I he just seems like he likes it, so and Chris Bartlett and another one that just came up like a 501st guy like us. Like, I again, he had TK 409, how to build stuff for years. And then like, for me, the time he took just to talk to Safi always puts him in well above anyone else for me. Just the time and effort he put into, he didn't have to, so like
Well,
he'll
I mean,
like,
I've been to a couple events where he's been there, and he'll take the time to just get away from his table and go over to the droid builders booth, and talk with the folks over there for a bit, and without a huge entourage, without 67 handlers, and
yeah,
keep at a distance, and no, you can't take foot, like, he's just there, and he's attentive and respectful and engaging, you know
yeah. Yeah, that's the fun part of what's coming down the pike for Star Wars, I think, for all the fandoms, you know. I mean, you don't have to, like, there's always going to be that one actor that's not going to have time for you, whether it's warranted or not, you
yeah.
know, because whether people realize it or not, those people that are there, they're there to do a job. Like, as much as I like Mark Hamill, he's not coming to the convention because he's not getting paid. You know what I mean? Like that's how they make their living, you know. Like, I don't think I would go on a Saturday and teach children computer science if I wasn't getting paid. I mean,
Well,
me.
so we've talked about some of the things that we we're working in 2024. What kind of wishes do you have for 2024? Not a resolution, but a hope for what is to come, either in Star Wars itself, within our shows, within fandom.
Well, I hope our shows keep going, which I think that's, you know, but within the fandom, um, I hope the live action stuff that comes out, people just give it a chance before they, like, I wish, no knock on Rotten Tomatoes, but if I hear one more person quote how high something scored on Rotten Tomatoes, I feel like throwing a Rotten Tomato at them. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that shows start getting a chance, not due to whatever rating they were given by some arbitrary group of people.
Well,
Like,
one of the things that I find interesting about that is, at least, so if we go back to Star Wars when we were younger, I don't ever remember watching Star Wars or any other movie or any other show for that matter based on a critic's view.
yep,
And I never, as a young fan, or even in my current role as an older fan, I don't look at the box office success of a show or a movie and judge whether I like it or not based on that.
Right.
But it seems like we're developing this whole entire demographic of critics who talk about that stuff with true confidence, and base their 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 critique of something on those sort of things, and they miss what's right on the screen.
Yep. Yep. No, I agree. Well, and so when I was a kid, we watched I forget, like it was either Siskel Ebert or something like that. But we only watched it because we wanted to see the trailers.
Or the behind the like, there's an exclusive clip from or Entertainment Tonight.
They said I just wanted, but I also think these all these ratings, it's and maybe it's because we live in an age where you go to buy something on Amazon. The first thing you do is look at the ratings before you know what I mean? Because like if you look up, blue widget, there might be 10 blue widgets, the same price, which is slightly different. So that's how we have to differentiate sometimes.
Oh, see, for me, the differentiation is it free shipping or not?
Well, right, but I'm saying even with free shipping, even if you look up we were looking up an airbrush to do Ahsoka makeup. There was 30 of them, 25 are free shipping, and they were all basically the same price. And so I had to go through and look at the ratings, and then you have to, and I wonder if that's what's hurt, movies, where people have, looked at, they're so used to looking at stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't. It's possible. It just seems more and more, folks are, and this just could be my sensitivity to it. So it might be the same amount of criticism that there always was for movies, but now I just think that the volume of it is much louder than it used to be.
Well, I do think if you remember back when Force Awakens came out, everyone loved it. Like it was like it came out, pretty much everyone loved it. And then I think it was like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after it was released, someone put a bad review like about it. And that's all everyone talked about. Like, and I wonder if some people want to do that. Like they want to be that first like viral whatever, for like to have that viral comment about something instead of just saying you like it.
Yeah, yeah, quite possibly. I mean, because look now how fat, especially with the stuff that comes, to us through streaming, whether it's Disney Plus or elsewhere. Folks will watch it and race to be the first ones to comment on it and stuff. And I think if I were to put a wish out there, I would wish for just more openness to what is, instead of being so hell bent on offering up a critique of it. Talk about what's there, and not necessarily from a I like or I don't like, but this is what I saw, this is what I thought, this is what I learned, this is the connection from this to that other thing. So there was, this belt buckle was from Buck Rogers, and this name of a spaceship was from a comic book or whatever. Talk about those things instead of, well,
Yeah.
this was bad and Kathleen Kennedy is awful and this is the Jar Jar Binks of whatever it is.
Well, yeah, I think Kathleen Kennedy is the Jar Jar Binks of the new. That's just an easy punching bag because I think some people got offended for whatever reason. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just like we have. I still predict Skeleton Crew is going to. I mean, I hope I'm right, but from what I saw of Skeleton Crew, I think Skeleton Crew is going to surprise people how much they like it. Because I think, like, if you look at the Mandalorian, it just came out of nowhere, and the ones that seem to get the most hate are the ones that have background. You would think it's the opposite way. But like no one liked Book of, I mean, I love Book of Boba Fett, but a lot of people had gripes about Book of Boba Fett. But you could take those, if you took those same gripes and lifted them, they would match up with things on the Mandalorian. But everyone loves the Mandalorian.
Well, I think what's interesting about Book of Boba Fett, specifically in comparison to the Mandalorian, with the Mandalorian, it was a new character.
Yeah.
So they didn't have that past history of either what showed up on screen or what showed up in books or what showed up in the minds of the viewer.
Right.
How many people played with a Boba Fett action figure and made all these stories up, even though the character was only in the movies for moments at most.
Right.
So there was all these preconceived ideas, and even when you look at movies like The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, or even any of the three sequel movies. Oh, they, Kathleen Kennedy ruined Luke Skywalker. They, what was the phrase that is often thrown around? Subverted expectations.
Oh, okay.
You know, Whereas even if you looked at those original movies, not the first one, because the first one had no comparison,
Right. Right.
but the second one, Empire Strike Back, you know, th- Lucas subverted expectations in that movie, but
Oh, yeah.
today folks don't talk about the subversion of expectations in the same way that they do with the new stuff.
Yeah.
And there are it's I think I saw it just today where some of the makers that we adore and admire and respect are literally and figuratively getting trashed for what they've
Oh,
shared with us, saying it's not imaginative, it's just a continuation of the same old story. I'm like, we're obviously not watching the same stuff, because I don't
could come back
see.
that could come back to your saying of people just worried about what Rotten Tomatoes and all these critics say. Like if you're letting that start your journey, then that could be you're starting on the wrong foot.
Yeah, like the Force Awakens, you brought up that. So a lot of people liked it at the beginning, and then somebody said that the Force Awakens was really just a retelling of A New Hope.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I can see where they're going with it. However, if you really look at all of the pieces, no, no, the Force Awakens is not a retelling of A New Hope,
Right.
and it was not meant to be a retelling of A New Hope. Similar, yes, because it's in the same universe, and
I was going to say the similarity is also a good writing. Like you could take that and say, well, then it's a retelling of Lord of the Rings, and it's the retelling of pick any Greek mythology that you know,
yeah,
pick any mythology, like any television show. You could go back. I mean, it hits those notes that we wanted to hit. Um, but yeah, I hope, like, I think what I saw from what I saw of Ghost Crew and the Acolyte, um, I think both of those are going to be hit. But I think if I had to put my money on one that I think is going to even be I'm going to like more is probably those two personally.
yeah, and for most of the recent stuff, I've been watching them from the, like, what can I make? Like, what do I? Because I feel I'm at the place now where, even though I'm not a good costumer, I feel like my skills are okay enough to be passable. So now when I watch a lot of these things, like, like the Enoch, I had no real interest in ever being a stormtrooper before, and then I saw that one. I'm like, that's one that I could see myself making and getting into.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I like the Jude Law character. I could see if I had to do a face character, I could see myself doing his character.
yeah, he's like, is he
I think
a
he's a
smuggler or what?
smugglerish Jedi.
Okay,
Because I don't think they revealed it in the scenes we saw, but I think he has something to do with the Jedi or something. It,
okay.
it's I wish I would have paid attention more and had more sleep when we were, 'cause me and Zoe were getting up way too early to go to those panels to actually remember anything. But
When do you think they're going to drop that trailer?
oh man, I don't know. See, I think a lot of these, um, I think a lot of the services right now are still getting over the strike. And when I say getting over, I think there's a lot of bitterness towards the people that just ask for some pocket change. And I have a feeling I think all of that is in upheaval right now,
Gotcha.
you know, at least from what I see. But they have to do it soon, but who knows? I mean, again, I don't know how, because it fell into Ahsoka too, which I think we talked about this last week or something. But a lot of Ahsoka was filmed under COVID rules. So I think there's some scenes that probably would have been shot differently had you not had COVID um, protocols. And I wonder, like, how much of the Acolyte and how much of the other show were under those same, because I forget when they started filming and and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
um,
and because of the strike, they weren't able to do their typical press junkets or
right.
anything. And with that in mind, speaking of Ahsoka, do you think we're going to get a gallery show of Ahsoka?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know because I wonder. I wonder how the strike affected that. Like, what did the strike affect when someone would have actually been working on that? And then is that one of those things where you can actually like kind of like you have to make it in the moment, or you just keep moving on? You know what I mean? Like that, like
Yeah. Well, I mean, like with all the other ones, they had. Well, I guess it's hard to say.
because
You know,
like the best one, which was the Mandalorian one, when they had the round tables and all those interviews and stuff like that. And they might still have those somewhere, but someone had to put all those together.
yeah,
And now that same person who is now back to work probably has project X, Y, and Z to move on
yeah.
to. Like, because I think there's going to be stuff that was just like little stuff that's just going to be dropped. That like that they might just come back later and do a couple things, but I don't know. I'm just curious. Like, again, I feel like the higher ups are kind of making the actors pay for it because now apparently no streaming service is making any money. So if you read the news, they're all broke, which I have bills to attest to. If they have as many subscribers as they say to, they I'm sure they have plenty of money.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting when they say that they never show any background data. Like this is how much revenue we have coming in for streaming. This is how much our streaming output cost. So as a executive, you could say all of those things, and
Yeah,
it could be true, and it could also be very very false. But we the fans would never know.
right. Here we go. What Fordo says. My boss. Distance fan believe we all wish to the feeling of the first time seeing Star Wars. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that was actually we were playing a card game my wife got, and the one question was like which of the following, if you had a wish, which of these would you want? And one of them was to see Star Wars again for the first time. I don't know if she made up that as a choice or whatever, but yeah, there is something to be said.
Well, what's interesting about that idea is each time we watch it is the first time, meaning this is the first time I'm watching it now.
Yeah,
And if you go into it with that open mindedness, if you go into it with that sense of appreciation, that sense of wonder, that sense of curiosity, every time you watch anything, so whether it's the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon Muppet Babies or the Last Jedi, it can be exciting if you want it to be. But if you're burdened with all of that other stuff.
well, and that might come down to it's the same as when we troop. Um, when I troop, I can't sleep the night before, and I'm usually grinning ear to ear in my costume. Now, I miss trooping with my kids when they were little and stuff like that. But I feel like there's some people that trooping takes a step and becomes like a job. And there are times when you sign up for an event and you're like, you sign up in June for an event in January and you're like all pumped. And come like the first week of January, you're like, oh crap. I understand that point, but when you're there, you're in the moment and loving it.
Yeah.
And I wonder with some of the Star Wars, if you say you're a Star Wars fan and show X comes out and you feel like you have to watch it because you're a Star Wars fan, then maybe just take a step back and wait till you want to watch it. Because I wish I would have known the first time I saw Star Wars Like and in some ways, I wish, and I'm glad I didn't. I wish I would have known what impact it would have made on my life because I would have paid attention more, not to the show, but where I was in my life as a. I guess I was 9 years old when I first saw it. I wish I would have just taken a step back and like, okay, who? Because I don't even remember who I was with. I don't remember. You know what I mean? Like I don't remember if I anything about it other than seeing it. And so that I wished, but I mean, the first time, like to your point, Ken, the first time I saw um, Force Awakens, I didn't even see the movie. I watched my girls probably 70% of the time, just watching their reactions. It wasn't until the second or third viewing that I actually just looked at the screen the whole time. The first time I saw the Clone Wars, the first time I saw the Clone Wars cartoon, and Ahsoka came off that plane, I got the biggest grin and almost teared up because I knew what was going through Zoe's head. Like I knew it. I was just, you know what I mean? And that feeling every time we went and saw that movie tons of times and I teared up every time. And the first 4 or 5 times I missed Rex being choked because Safi was scared and asked to go to the bathroom and she was only 4, so I couldn't let her go back. But that's what I remember about every time. So
And it's accessible every time. That I mean, you could sit down right now in your living room, or you could pause the show right now and bring it up on your phone and go to that 2008 movie on Disney Plus and watch that part, and it can be there for you.
well, and I teared up in Force Awakens when Ray called the saber in the forest fight. That was just there's a few movies that have done that to me. And the other one was it wasn't even a Star Wars movie. It was the Thor movie, the first one, when they thought he was dead and he called the hammer. Because just that it just like teared me up like, oh yeah, he's gonna be the hero now. Like he's become the good guy. I just love the good guy winning because it always seems in real life good guys get shit on pretty bad. And when the good guy's coming, especially in a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie, the good guy's really going to put a hurting on some people. Yeah. And that's why I think the Mandalorian, to go back to our earlier conversation about Westerns, the Mandalorian reminds me, there's a line you ever watch Josie Wales?
Yes, not in a while, but I do remember watching it.
I haven't seen it in a while, so I'll probably get the quote slightly off. But the Josie Wales says to the Indian chief they had rescued or something like that, something like someone left, and he said, "I noticed when I get to just liking someone, they're not around long." And the Indian chief replies back, "I notice when you get to disliking someone, they're not around long either." And that's pretty much the Mandalorian, man. Every time, you know, and that Beskar clunk, man. Every time you hear that, and usually the Trandoshans at the beginning when they tried to take him out, it's just that just always brings that grin to my. I think that's why my season 1 of The Mandalorian is probably one of my favorite as a rewatch. Like if I want something just playing in the background that I can look up, season 1 of The Mandalorian is becoming my new favorite. Right, it used to be Phantom Menace. So.
Well, see, for me, unfortunately, I'm at the place when it comes to any Star Wars, and I can't just put it on. Like I get hypnotized by it, and like I could tell how like I got to get this thing done. If I put on Star Wars, forget about it. This thing that I was going to do is not going to get done because I'm going to watch this thing that I've either watched 17 times or 1700 times.
Well, when I say I put it on in the background, it's usually I get very little done. Like cleaning up the kitchen, which should take 15 minutes, now takes like an hour and 20 minutes. Because I started doing what you said. I started putting Star Wars soundtracks on in the garage, and I do tend to get more work done with the soundtrack. Because with the podcast, I found myself just standing there listening to a podcast. My neighbors probably think something's wrong with me because
He's just staring at the
I'm in
ceiling.
the garage with the Bluetooth speaker playing. So
Well, and now we literally have days worth of Star Wars music. And that's I think one of the great things too about these new shows, whether you're talking about Ahsoka or Mandalorian or even Bad Batch. They put the soundtracks out there now so you can.
vinyl, some of them.
Yeah,
I
that's
saw
true.
someone on one of my feeds. They got the Book of Boba Fett soundtrack on vinyl.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh man, don't just please don't. I don't need more things to spend my money on. I don't need a record collection.
Well, the best part now is you can just buy the MP3 of it, buy the digital version of it. So
Yeah,
you
yeah. But the
and
records, have you seen some of the records
oh
that
yeah,
work on
yeah,
them?
you're talking to the guy who
Yeah.
continues to add things, even though he said, I told the kids this year for Christmas, I said, just so you know, for 2024, I'm not buying any new action figures until I get at least one of my costumes done.
I have a question for you about Luke on the Tauntaun, the big figure.
Yes.
How much would you pay for him?
Would I pay for it?
The big one, like that came out in the
The
90s.
12-inch one, kind of like the
They're $60 at Jordan's shop.
oh wow, that's really reasonable.
He has the Luke with all his Tatooine gear, like his rifle and his all that, the big 12-inch.
And the floppy hat?
Yeah, $39. He has Han and Luke stormtroopers. I think he wanted 59 for that.
Now, if he has the Luke and Leia on different speeder bikes,
Yeah, those two. He does.
yeah, then we're talking.
They're like 59 or $69. You got
Yeah, I mean, I think that's about reasonable. I've purchased them for less. You know,
I'm just I wouldn't pay more because I would open them. You know, like these are
yeah,
unopened in the box, but
yeah, like these. I like these Aura Singh, C-3PO, and Anakin's. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I had 3 of those. I had C-3PO and the Darth Vader in my hand, and you know what? I didn't buy it, and I don't know, but
and
yeah,
it sounds like Fordo does a lot is similar to us with the music. You know, puts it on and feels like he's transported somewhere else.
yeah. Well, you know, Zoe found um there was like channels of it, and then there's also she like on Spotify or whatever. It's like she plays the in-universe music, like the songs from like the animated. What was that? The
Bad Batch.
No, but no, the in-universe, the shorts. Remember the band on Java?
Oh yeah, there's so the diegetic music. So you can so in the Bad Batch they actually had some jukebox
Yeah, yeah, that stuff.
mixes, and you can even they have 2 albums straight from Oga's Cantina at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
And then they have lo-fi versions of it where it's, somebody takes the Star Wars music and modifies it slightly, and it's just on, on this constant loop.
that's funny.
And I've gotten to the place now where it depends on the mood I'm in. Sometimes I'll put Star Wars music on during my drive one way or the other. And then there are other times where I'll put on a podcast. And lately I've been listening to some of the audiobooks. Like I'm in the middle of or near the end of um, Last Shot with Han Solo and
Was that good?
it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. One of the challenges I'm having with it is there's lots of jumping back and forth in time,
Yeah.
and they even use different voices for the different. So if it's Han Solo back in time, it's one voice. If it's Lando back in time, it's another voice. If it's in the now, it's different. And
Have you listened to George his unauthorized biography?
not yet.
You should listen to that one.
That's the next. Actually, there's 2 books I have on my list that I want to get for 2024. One of them is The Courtship of Princess Leia on audio. That comes out in January. And then the other one is the unauthorized biography of George.
I met that writer, so I think I told that story before, and he's a nice guy. But because that was my question, I raised my hand, and I said, why is it unauthorized? Because I just always thought unauthorized was bad, and I just liked it. His answer was, no, it means we go back to original source material, because he said famous people tend to change their story as they get more famous, which is true. I mean, you think of all the rumors we've heard, like in that documentary you and I talked about, like rumors of George Lucas he didn't even say, but because it just gets repeated so many times, then you build a picture of someone who didn't say that.
Yeah.
So, let's see. With or without music being the Star Destroyer. Oh yeah. Oh, he's talking about the ambiance stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just a good time to be a Star Wars person. Like I'm wearing this shirt, right? This is my Five Below. I have had like 4 of these that I've ruined making costumes and stuff. I get more compliments on my Five Below Boba Fett shirt than anything else. That's what we were talking to Jordan. So when we were talking to Jordan and we were telling him about, because he said he wanted to join the 500 first, and we said the one thing they don't tell you about is all the merch that's available. Because he likes the patches. Like Jordan has some really nice patches that he's picked up over the years. And I said, "Oh man, you go to the patch traders. Have you ever
Oh,
been to the patch
I,
trade?"
I've seen it, but I refuse to spend any time there.
I went to the one at
Just
Celebration, Anaheim, and it was ridiculous. Like there were people with rolling luggage, bigger than all the luggage I brought to Anaheim, and it was just nothing but binders and binders of patches.
yeah, when I was in Boy Scouts, we used to collect the council patches
Yeah,
from the different councils around the world, and it's like we as a species are built-in hoarders, like collectors or whatever. So whether we're collecting sounds and soundtracks, we're collecting pins or coins or 6-inch action figures that go for $25 a pop. We'll collect things till the end of time.
yeah. Well, I was thinking if I ever go to make a jacket with mine, and I'm not even a patch collector, I need like a 1980s duster. You know, I,
Ankle length.
I need a Chess King duster to just cover it with patches.
And I haven't seen that yet. I've only seen the jean jackets. So Star Wars camporees, that would have been awesome as a kid.
We've trooped Star Wars things at camp at Boy Scout.
Really?
Yeah, we've trooped a few of those. Like a Boy Scouts camp, they'll have like a Star Wars day at like their summer camp or something like that, and we trooped them.
Oh, that's awesome.
We trooped. I think we might have even trooped a couple when kids got their what's the Eagle Scout?
Eagle Scout, the highest rank. Yeah.
Their Eagle Scout badge and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah. So I don't know. 2024 should be a fun year. I'm hoping that Matt gets his movie done. I would like to be in some sort of fan film. I think I'm at the point now, like you, me, Marty, and a bunch of we should start a Star Wars fan film, like almost like a plug and play. You know, you have a fan film. We should just tell us where to be, and we'll be your bet. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we could be the either the actors, like the in costume characters, or I do have boom experience.
yes,
Well,
yes,
so we could also work as crew. The other thing I think would be fun, considering all those people that you just mentioned, if we started recording just skits.
yeah.
You know,
I agree. Listen, I agree, and that's why and I'm doing better. I'm not taking on projects. I mean, my Star Wars project list is kind of level. Like compared to how I would have 7 new projects if you know. I should probably look at a recording from last January. I don't think I've really the live action Sabine has kind of thrown me for a little bit of a loop, but besides that, I haven't really done much. I've been just slowly tinkering away at all my other stuff, but I haven't just because I want to be available to do stuff like that. Because
yeah,
trooping wise, I'm probably in the same boat with you. I want to troop. I only troop like once or twice officially this year. I like to troop a handful of times. Again, it's harder for me because my girls don't troop. It just doesn't seem the same. So I just got to get over that mindset, to be honest with you.
well, that's where I think John and I can come in, because I think the three of us trooping together would be fun. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd like to troop some, but like I'd like to see. I'd like to see the trooping. Like I don't mind trooping at cons, but cons can all depend on who you troop with. Because but I'd like to see some unique, like we used to do like street fairs. There's a street fair down near Ocean City that we had to miss because we were filming the movie, I think, this past year. But it was beautiful. It was like a library event, but it was they set up a whole street fair.
Oh, that's
You
awesome.
kind of got to walk around, and you pick a couple guys and you just walk around and get pictures and interact with people. Like I played that giant Jenga with some kids as a stormtrooper, and I would always miss, like, just as a joke, I would actually drop it in, or not Jenga, checkers. What's that?
Check
Um,
Connect 4.
4, and I would always drop the checker in the, like, wrong slot, or miss the thing complete, just as a stormtrooper, you know. Um,
Well, that'd be better suited for a cornhole.
yeah, cornhole. Yeah, we did cornhole at the library event last year. He had two cornholes that looked like the Death Star. The Death Star. You had to drop it in to destroy the Death Star.
Oh, that's cool.
And then he had the one row of the library was it was an asteroid field, and you had to throw a paper airplane through the asteroid field for Empire Strikes Back.
That's cool.
You know, that's the stuff I like. Like I like the. I mean, the cons are nice, but the cons have become they're like I almost feel like the 501st should say we do charity and cons. Like that should, you know what I mean? Like it should be like
Yeah.
don't count cons as your one troop a year, and then you'll see, you know. But
Well, the other thing I'd like to figure out a way of doing is doing some photo shoots. Actually get some more wear out of my costumes and stuff.
Marty is always up for that. And when Marty takes your pictures, man, like he takes pictures better with his phone than I do with, you know, a fancy camera. Marty always wants to do photo shoots. It's just people are, you know, like when we did 2 at the cliffs where we filmed years ago, and I still use those pictures to this day, you know.
Yeah, because I don't have any really nice pictures of me in my costume.
Well, we could do that. I'm trying to think. He did the down in the, I think it was the Jersey Shore or the Maryland Shore, where they have those big bunkers or battlements.
There's some in the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, I think he went down there and did a shoot one time.
I'd like to. Have you ever been to the I don't know if it's a naval museum or an Air Force museum in Wildwood?
No.
That would be a fun place to go, and or the Battleship, New Jersey. The
Oh, yeah.
battleship. Those are both really cool places because depending on where you're standing and where the photographer is, you can make it look like you're in an actual Star Wars thing.
We'll have to talk to Marty, because see, Marty's also a good person to know how to lay up a shot. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you show him, hey, this would be cool, he'll make it cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we used to go to Camp Capen Lopen. They still have some of the battlements there too. In I think that's in Delaware.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a good idea to do. I wish we had something around here. Like we used to have a couple abandoned quarries, but they're all flooded or locked up now. But it used to be like old machinery, so you could get
Yeah.
that weird feel.
Or even find so on the 6th floor of our building, we call it the penthouse, and it's where all the heavy machinery of the building is.
Well,
Nice. That could be I think it could be a cool backdrop for a Star Wars photo shoot there too.
Yeah.
It's like all the big, big air handlers and things like this.
Yeah, we should definitely, we got to, that should, when John's on, we should do on like a New Year's resolution / list.
Yeah.
We just check it every couple episodes. Okay, how's our list looking?
Yeah.
You know, we should like just pick. But you know, Fordo's going to diesel mechanic school, so he's gonna be rolling in the dough. He'll have 50 costumes when it gets out.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Well, thanks for another great episode, Mike. Really appreciate you getting on with me tonight.
Yeah, a little long, but I'm, like I said, time doesn't mean anything this week in my life, because you know we're like last night I was up till like 2:30 a.m. I was like, oh crap. So, but yeah, I appreciate. I wish John was here, but check out Ken at the Rambling Star Wars Fan. Check me out here. Zoe's. They just recorded an episode of their show, and hopefully it's a long one, so I don't know if they're doing one this week or next, but and then we have John's show, The Best Car Bucket. Check out, let me see if the Disturbance in the Force.
Yes, watch that. Watch it twice just because.
Yeah, it's a good commentary on just how to be a positive person about something that is extremely difficult to be positive about. I mean, I've never, since you've known me, I think I've always been positive about the in a strange
Yes.
way. But I do I do understand people that if you see that out of context, it's,
Well, and if you go into it with wild expectations, if you expect it to be canon, if you expect it to be incredibly serious, if you expect to see characters that in action, or if you expect to understand everything that's going on, you're not gonna get all of those things in the holiday special.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, the first 8 minutes or more was three Wookiees talking to each other with no subtitles.
yeah. That's a
It was a very interesting choice.
yes. All right, we're gonna run this outro out.
All right, let's rock it.
Thank you, everybody.
I used to put my faith in starships, but then my falcon's hyperdrive to slay it. I used to worry about the future, but then I threw my caution to the wind. I had no reason to be carefree. No, no, no. Until I took a trip to the treetop side of town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I heard that wicked rhythm. Hey, I had no choice but to get down, 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 dance. Woo! There's nothing left for me to do but dance. All these bad times I'm going through, just dance. Got cash, you get my heels tonight, baby.
No disrespect to my man here, but you ready for the real deal, superstar?